On the day of my wedding, my younger sister returned to the country unexpectedly. My parents, my elder brother, and my fiancé all deserted me and went to the airport to pick up my sister. While my sister was showing off in her WeChat moments with a group photo, boasting about how many people loved her, I made countless phone calls, but they were all mercilessly hung up on. The only one who answered the phone was my fiancé, who just said one sentence, telling me not to make a fuss and that the wedding could be held again. They made me the most ridiculous clown at the wedding I had been looking forward to the most, being pointed at and laughed at by everyone. I calmly dealt with everything by myself and wrote a new number in my diary, 99. This was the 99th time they had disappointed me, and I would no longer expect them to love me. I filled out the study abroad application and packed my luggage. They all thought I had become obedient, but they didn't know that I was going to leave. The door of the room was suddenly pushed open, and my elder brother James walked in. When he saw me in a daze looking at the diary, he sneered. "What age are you, still being so childish and writing a diary like a primary school student?" In the past, I probably would have bickered with him. But this time, I didn't even lift my head, nor did I respond to what he said. Seeing that I didn't react, James scratched his hair in frustration and snatched my diary to take a look. There was only one number on it, 99. It was the number of times they had disappointed me over the years. James couldn't understand what it meant, frowned, and casually threw the notebook on the ground, ordering me, "Stop writing this messy stuff. Olivia wants to eat the braised prawns you make. Wash your hands and go downstairs quickly. Consider it an apology for the sarcastic comment you made about her today." I remained calm and just said au revoir, then got up and walked downstairs. James was surprised that I didn't make a scene. After all, in the past when the family asked me to cook shrimp for my sister, I would always cry and act as if I had suffered a great grievance. Why was I so quiet this time? "Ava, have you changed your temper? You're not holding some evil intention and planning to put something in the food, are you?" He sized me up, trying to see through the bad ideas hidden in my heart. His gaze landed on my slightly red eyes. James paused for a moment and closed his chattering mouth. It was a long time before he spoke again. "Olivia has been abroad for a year. She's been away by herself for so long, and this is the first time she's come back. We were eager to see her, and you should understand. It's just a wedding. We can hold a make-up wedding for you in a while, can't we?" I remained silent and took out the shrimp from the refrigerator to wash it. Yes, it was just a wedding. In their eyes, nothing was more important than picking up Olivia, even if it was the wedding I had been looking forward to for a long, long time. I pestered people for a long time before I managed to rent a high-end custom-made wedding dress. I also planned the wedding decoration bit by bit with the wedding planner, spending more than half a year on it. They all saw all of this. But in the end, these people who were closest to me made me a complete joke. All of the bride's family members were absent, and the groom didn't show up from beginning to end. While Olivia was showing off in her WeChat moments that so many people had picked her up, I was facing the ridicule and strange looks from the guests and dealing with the aftermath alone. Even the hotel staff, seeing my pale face, felt sorry for me and told me to go home and have a good rest. But when my family got home, the first thing they asked me to do was to be the cook. I curled the corners of my lips, self-deprecating lie. Originally, I thought that since my parents were old, Olivia was already abroad, and James was busy with work, and considering that I was getting married, I planned to decline the study abroad quota given by my tutor. But now, I just feel that the decision to leave is the right one. It's just a pity that after submitting the application, it will still be 2 weeks before I can leave. I pushed James aside. "Excuse me, you're in the way." My cold attitude made James feel like hitting a ball of cotton with his fist. He was a bit helpless and was just about to say something more when the little princess, who was the center of attention in the living room, called for him. "Brother, I can't peel this chestnut." James immediately became anxious. "Don't peel it yourself. It will hurt your hands. You're going to be a pianist. Wait for me to help you." The annoying fly finally left the kitchen. I looked down at my hands. My originally slender fingers were already swollen and red due to an allergy. When I put the shrimp on the dining table, I glanced at the living room. The atmosphere there could be described as harmonious and joyful. My father, who was always busy with business, was not busy at all at the moment. He was sitting there, listening patiently to his youngest daughter's interesting stories from her study abroad days. My mother looked at Olivia with eyes full of pity, hugging her in her arms and saying that she had lost a lot of weight and had suffered abroad. James was sitting beside them, concentrating on peeling chestnuts for Olivia. I didn't say anything and just watched this warm scene quietly. The living room and the dining room were like two worlds with clear boundaries. One side was lively, and the other side was lonely. Sister, why are you standing over there and not coming over? Are you still angry with me because I affected your wedding? Olivia's pitiful voice sounded, and the three people in the living room finally noticed me. My father subconsciously frowned. Who are you pulling a long face for? Come over here quickly. My mother also showed some impatience on her face. The matter of your wedding is purely because you chose a bad date. It has nothing to do with Olivia at all. If you dare to be angry with Olivia, don't call me Mom in the future. Olivia pouted and acted coquettously with her mother. Oh, Mom, don't say that. My sister will be sad. Although she was pretending to persuade, the pride in her eyes couldn't be hidden. I knew that Olivia was not innocent, because I had already told her the date of my wedding a week ago. She saw the message and told me she would prepare a surprise for me. It was indeed a surprise. This kind of game of choosing between two options, she had been playing since she was a child. Every time, I would never be the choice of my parents and my elder brother. Even my fiancé, who was supposed to spend the rest of my life with me, didn't choose me either. I should have been sad, but perhaps I was already numb. Now, when I heard these words, I didn't feel anything in my heart. I'm not angry. When I said these 5 words, everyone present looked at me in surprise. Not angry? How could that be? I took in their expressions and only felt ironic in my heart. See, they also knew that what they did would make people angry. But they still did it, and even blamed me for my emotions. Now that I was behaving so calmly, my parents and James always felt that something was wrong. After a moment of silence, my father finally spoke. It's good that you're not angry. We're all family. Don't care so much. Okay, I know. I nodded obediently. Seeing that I really didn't seem to take it to heart, they felt relieved and pulled Olivia to prepare for the meal. In addition to the braised prawns I made, there were also a lot of seafood prepared by the aunt on the dining table, all of which were Olivia's favorites. Olivia, you've lost so much weight. Have a good supplement. My parents and James' chopsticks never stopped. Soon, Olivia's bowl was piled up like a small mountain. She smiled and continued to brag to the family about her studies abroad. She said that she had already got a spot in the orchestra and would soon be able to play in it. My parents and James listened and praised her repeatedly. And I just ate the rice silently. Seeing that I was really quiet, my mother seemed to feel a bit guilty and finally remembered the grievance I had suffered. A shrimp was put into my rice bowl. I looked up, and my mother's expression was a bit unnatural. Eat it. Don't always think that we're biased towards Olivia. I'm also giving you a shrimp. I stared at the shrimp for a long time and then put down the bowl. No need. I'm full. My mother felt that she had lost face and was a bit angry. What's wrong with you, child? She wanted to say more, but Olivia, who was sitting next to her, suddenly covered her neck and her face changed. Mom, I can't breathe. My parents and James quickly rushed to her side. Seeing the rashes on her body, they were really panicked. Is this an allergy? How could she be allergic all of a sudden? My mother's eyes flickered and then fixed on me. The next second, she slapped me with all her strength. I couldn't even stand steady and fell to the ground, with my head buzzing. Ava, what did you put in the food when you were cooking? Don't you remember what your sister is allergic to? James also looked extremely disappointed. I said why you were being so agreeable. So you really had bad intentions and wanted to harm Olivia. Ava, how could I have such a vicious sister like you? Stop it, don't argue anymore. Send Olivia to the hospital first. My father angrily slapped the table, and only then did my mother and James take back their hateful gazes from me. The family left in a hurry, and only I was still sitting on the ground, holding my swollen face and in a daze. I didn't do it. I really wanted to say that I didn't do it. But things like this had happened so many times, and I knew very well that even if I said it, they wouldn't believe me. Forget it, just let it be. The maid at home heard the commotion and wanted to help me up. When she saw my hand, she was startled. Miss Ava, why is your hand so swollen? I'm fine. I refused her kindness, stood up by myself, and went upstairs to my room. Picking up the notebook on the table, countless memories came flooding back. When I was 8 years old, our family didn't have much money. The 5 of us squeezed into an old house. My parents were too busy with work and found it really difficult to take care of the 3 of us children at the same time. They planned to send one child to live with our grandparents in the countryside. But my elder brother was about to enter high school, which was a crucial time, and my younger sister was too young and in poor health, so they couldn't bear to send her away. I didn't want to see my parents looking worried, so I volunteered and raised my hand. So I was sent to the countryside. Before I left, my mother stroked my head and praised me as the most sensible child. But no one told me that the price of being sensible was to stay at my grandparents' house for a full 8 years. During these 8 years, except for the Chinese New Year every year, I didn't get to see my parents, elder brother, or younger sister. Year after year, I watched as their clothes became more and more exquisite and beautiful, and I could guess that our family's financial situation had improved a lot compared to before. I had been waiting for my parents to pick me up. I waited until I grew from an elementary school student to a high school student, and until my elderly grandparents passed away, then I finally got on the car back home. The small and shabby old house in my memory was gone, replaced by a 3-story villa. The room they left for me was in the corner on the first floor. It didn't have as many books, materials, and esports equipment as my elder brother's room, nor did it have the full of girlish heart decorations like my younger sister's room. Just like my status in this family, not valued and easily ignored at any time. I packed up my few belongings and stuffed them into the suitcase. The marriage leave I had originally applied for with my tutor was now useless. I was thinking of making a call and going back to the laboratory starting tomorrow, but suddenly my phone rang. The one calling was William, my fiancé. I thought he was going to ask me about the follow-up of the wedding, but unexpectedly, as soon as I answered the phone, he scolded me fiercely. Ava, what did you do to Olivia? Why is she in the hospital? The person who was always calm and self-possessed lost his composure twice on the same day. The first time was when he heard the news of Olivia's return to the country, and the second time was now. What was even more ridiculous was that he was clearly my fiancé. She had an allergic reaction. You're the one who caused it, aren't you? How could you treat your sister like this? William's voice sounded very angry. Ava, I always thought you were a kind person. But just because of such a small thing, you sent Olivia to the hospital. Are you still human? I listened to his accusations and didn't even bother to explain anything. Yeah, I'm not human. I'm sorry to Olivia. I'll apologize to her when she comes back. Is that okay? If you finished speaking, I'm going to hang up. I still have something to do. William was stunned. He never expected me to react like this. Before this, we had quarreled many times because of Olivia. When we were on a date, he chatted with Olivia so absorbedly that he forgot everything else. When we had a meal together, he didn't remember my dietary taboos, but he took the initiative to order the food that Olivia liked. I had hysterically questioned him countless times, and all I got in return was a sentence, "You're overthinking it. She's your sister. I'm just helping you take care of her." His coldness made me seem like a crazy person who was overly concerned about trivial matters. My parents and James were all on his side, saying that I had too strong a control desire. So during the year when Olivia was abroad, I once secretly rejoiced in a despicable way. But I was so starved of love that I forgot that a broken glass would hurt people. I stubbornly held the pieces of glass and didn't want to let go until now, with blood dripping everywhere. Ava, you'd better really think so. If anything else happens to Olivia, our wedding won't be held. There was a strong warning in William's words. I heard that he seemed to have gotten out of the car and closed the car door, and the surrounding sounds became noisy. I could tell that he had gone to the hospital. Presumably, he was eager to visit my dear younger sister. Taking care of his sweetheart in my name, William really treated me like a fool. I curled my lips sarcastically, hung up the phone, and then contacted my tutor. When my parents and James finally dragged their tired bodies home, I had already packed my things and was ready to live in the school dormitory. As I dragged my suitcase and just walked out of the house, I heard my mother's sigh. If it weren't for the fact that William's family doesn't have good financial conditions, it would be nice for Olivia to be with him. Look at how considerate he is there. I paused and stopped in my tracks. Then I heard my father say, yeah, the young man is also handsome. I think Olivia actually likes him quite a bit. I wish we hadn't tried to make William and Ava get to know each other. Don't think too much. I really can't bear to let Olivia suffer with William. It's better to let him be with Ava. They are more suitable for each other. Our Olivia is going to be a pianist. Even as a brother-in-law he can dote on Olivia. My mother was talking to herself. When she looked up she saw me standing on the stairs and took 2 steps back in fright. Ava, why are you here? She thought I was asleep since there was no light on in the room. She didn't know how much of these words her second daughter had heard. I ignored the faint pain in my heart and walked straight past her. There's something going on at school, and I'm going back. Seeing that I was okay, my parents exchanged a look and then felt relieved. James looked at the suitcase beside me and frowned. You're taking a suitcase back to school? What, are you afraid that we'll pursue the matter of you making Olivia allergic and want to run away? Mentioning this matter, my parents, who had been a bit guilty just now, straightened their backs again and looked down at me. Right, I almost forgot about this. Ava, do you know that your sister was hospitalized because of you? Even if you don't apologize, you still want to leave now. There's no such easy thing. Seeing them looking angry and seemingly unwilling to let it go, I felt a little annoyed in my heart. I took out my phone, dialed Olivia's number, and turned on the speakerphone. Olivia had already woken up. At the moment, she was being taken care of attentively by William. When she answered my call, she immediately said in a coquettish voice, Sister, why did you call me? Did someone tell you that William is taking care of me here, and are you angry? When Olivia's voice sounded, my parents and James couldn't believe that such mean words could come out of the mouth of their beloved daughter and sister. I didn't have the time to care about what they were thinking, nor did I bother about William. I perfunctorily said, yeah, William is taking good care of you. Now, everyone who heard it was a bit confused. Olivia also asked in surprise, Sister, are you serious? Of course I'm serious. I answered without hesitation. Although I don't know what exactly caused your allergy, I apologize to you. I'm sorry. After saying this, I hung up the phone neatly and then looked at my stunned family members including James. Now, can I leave? This time, no one stopped me from leaving. I didn't take James' words why aren't you making a scene now, too hard either. When I got back to school, I put my phone on airplane mode and stayed in the laboratory like being in seclusion for a full 13 days. It was not until the day before I left that I finished the experiment and came out of the laboratory. As soon as I turned on my phone, I saw countless WeChat messages popping up. There were messages from many people, my family members including James, William, and some of my friends. I opened my friend's message first. She was probably very angry and sent 70 or 80 messages, all scolding William and Olivia. I looked at the photo she sent, which was a screenshot of Olivia's WeChat moments. A family photo. My parents, James, Olivia, and even William were all in it. He was standing next to Olivia, staring straight at her with full of love in his eyes, looking like a knight guarding her. Olivia's caption was, with my dearest family members. This irritating move made my friend so angry that she not only complained a lot to me but also left a comment under her WeChat moments. Sister isn't even here. It seems that brother-in-law takes very good care of you. I replied to her first and soothed her well before opening the messages from others. Without exception, they all blamed me for letting my friend make sarcastic remarks about Olivia. I replied with apologies one by one and was just about to lock the screen when James called me. Ava, what are you doing? Why can't we get in touch with you? Do you know how worried we've been at home these 2 days? After he said this, suddenly Olivia's silvery laughter rang out beside him. Dad, Mom, William, come and look at this carousel. It's so beautiful. So they were at an amusement park. I asked inferently, were you really that worried? James was suddenly embarrassed. It took him a long time to say, it's just that we couldn't get in touch with you. If you were here, you could have come with us too. It's all your friend's fault. Olivia has a sensitive personality. She cried for a long time after being said like that by your friend, so we took her out to relax. I've already apologized. James fell silent again, as if not knowing what to say. It took him a long time to squeeze out a sentence, that's for the best. You've really learned to be obedient now. The next second, his phone was suddenly taken away by William. The man's deep voice sounded, tinged with some anger. Ava, did you ask your friend to leave that kind of comment? Why are your thoughts so dirty? I've said it countless times. Olivia is your biological sister, and I'm just spoiling her on behalf of you, her sister. Isn't that what your whole family does? I know you think everyone likes Olivia and not you, so you're jealous of Olivia. But it's not Olivia's fault. You should really reflect on why you're not likable. Hearing his thoughtless words, my hand holding the phone clenched slightly. After being with William, I told him some things about my family. At that time, he hugged me and said he would always favor me. Now he's asking me to reflect. But I don't feel sad. More than 10 days ago, from my parents, I already learned the truth. The person William likes has never been me. He was just acting out a play. When the play succeeded, he could stay by the side of the person he loves, protecting and spoiling her forever. What I thought was fate was actually just a play they performed together. Sometimes, I really wanted to ask why. But there's no need. Not loving is just not loving. Whether it's family love or romantic love, there's no reason. On the other end of the phone, William's flustered apology could be heard. Presumably, he also knew that what he said just now was a bit inappropriate. But it doesn't matter. I don't care anymore. I glanced at the flight ticket information sent by my labmate and said softly, William, let's break up. I don't want to be this pawn anymore. I'm leaving. When he heard my words, there was a dead silence on the other end of the phone. When I was about to hang up, William laughed, with the confidence of having me under his control. Ava, are you sure? You've been preparing for the wedding for so long. How could you really want to break up? You also know that the wedding has been in preparation for a long time. I sighed. But William seemed to think I was still throwing a tantrum and said somewhat helplessly, stop making a fuss. I've already said that the wedding will be made up for you. The trick of playing hard to get won't work on me. I didn't have the mood to explain anything to him anymore. When I heard that James seemed to be arguing with him, I just hung up the phone. After thinking about it, I blocked my family members including James and William. That night, I slept soundly and even had a dream. In the dream, a little girl wearing different clothes from her elder brother and younger sister was writing in a diary. She held a pen and wrote the number 1 in a brand new notebook, mumbling to herself, if it reaches 99, I won't want mom, dad, elder brother, and younger sister anymore. After thinking about it, she crossed out that number and wrote 0. 5. Mom and dad forgot to buy me new clothes again today. Wearing old clothes, I was laughed at by my classmates at school. I'm a bit sad, but this is already my best clothes. My sister said I stole her things today. Mom and dad beat me up. I didn't. I just wanted to clean them for her. My sister said she wanted to eat braised prawns and asked me to cook them. Mom and dad forgot that I'm allergic to seafood. My hand is swollen and it hurts so much. It's my sister's birthday. The cake looks so nice. I also want to have a birthday, but Mom and Dad seem to have forgotten. My birthday is 2 days before my sister's. I watched silently as she wrote page after page in the notebook. Sometimes there were decimal points, and sometimes there weren't. She made countless exceptions for her family, and the expression on her face became more and more numb. In the end, when the notebook was almost filled, the wedding she had been looking forward to also fell apart. The number stopped at 99. I looked at her in the wedding dress. I should have left earlier, she said. I nodded. But it's not too late now. The moment I got on the plane, those heavy grievances that I had written down page by page were left in that land from then on. I threw myself into my studies, almost forgetting to eat and sleep. Alone in a foreign country, I did feel a sense of loneliness. But unlike Olivia, I didn't look for anyone to chat with. Instead, I spent all this time enriching myself. Like a sponge, I absorbed knowledge that I had never been exposed to before. In the end, all my lab mates in the laboratory begged me to stop overworking. Only then did I take a vacation and lie in the dormitory. When chatting with my friend in China, she suddenly mentioned my family members including James and William, with a tone full of schadenfreude. Ava, you don't know. After you left, William and your family members including James almost went crazy. Crazy? I replied casually. Impossible. They don't care about me that much. My friend quickly replied, who knows? Anyway, I heard that they've been trying every means to find your contact information. I nodded and finally understood the reason why I had always been receiving strange phone calls recently. But I don't have the habit of answering calls from strange numbers. I've always just pretended not to see them. So those numbers were from my family members including James and William? Just as I was thinking about it, a strange number called. After hesitating for a moment, I still answered the call. The person on the phone surprised me. It was actually my mother. When she saw that the call was connected, she seemed very excited. Ava, you finally answered the phone. Where did you go? Why did you block all of us? We thought something had happened to you. After a pause, she said somewhat stiffly, we were wrong to ignore you before. Come home. We'll celebrate your birthday for you. Her behavior was really very abnormal. I immediately thought of the notebook that I had thrown into the trash before leaving and guessed that they probably picked up my diary and read it. 99 numbers, more than 99 grievances. That's why they felt so guilty and wanted to find me to make up for it. But what's the use? Doing things that hurt me and then seeking forgiveness doesn't prove how much they care about me. It just means they want to have a clear conscience. I said coldly, no need. I don't like celebrating birthdays. My mother was choked by my words and didn't know what to say for a long time. When she finally spoke, she still asked me to go home early. I looked at my small dormitory. Although it's not big, all the things in it are what I like. I bought them one by one myself. This is the place where I feel a sense of belonging. No need. I'm already home. I replied like this and hung up the phone. I thought I had made my refusal quite clear that day. But one day, when I came out of the laboratory after finishing the experiment, I saw several people I didn't want to see standing downstairs of my apartment. My father, mother, elder brother, and even William. When they saw me, they were all a bit excited. Ava, you're finally back. James was just about to step forward, when William directly pushed past him and stood in front of me. Ava, long time no see. He looked a bit haggard, and his eyes were red. I didn't know how long he hadn't rested. If it were the old me, I might have felt a bit sorry for him. But now, I just felt annoyed. We've broken up. What are you doing here? William's eyes became even redder. I didn't agree to the breakup, we were just having a quarrel. Breaking up doesn't require your consent. I said calmly and then looked at my family members including James, who were standing aside looking a bit at a loss. I heard what you said that day. My parents and elder brother's faces turned pale instantly, and William also seemed to think of something and opened his eyes wide. I continued to state the truth I had guessed. William likes Olivia. You thought his family's financial condition was just so-so and he wasn't good enough for your precious daughter, so you found a way to introduce him to me. This way there would still be a promising person in the family who could dote on Olivia, right? No, it's not like that. Mom wanted to refute, but she was too weak to defend herself. Dad and James also lowered their heads, looking extremely ashamed. As for William, he was eager to bare his heart to me. I did like Olivia at the beginning, but that was just at the beginning. We were about to get married. How could I not have feelings for you? I nodded to show that I understood. In William's gradually brightening eyes, I mercilessly added another blow. That you didn't show up at our wedding, so we won't get married anymore. No, it won't be like that. We can still hold a new wedding. I've already ordered the wedding dress, and it's designed by your favorite designer. I've also contacted the wedding planner. As long as you promise me, we can hold a makeup wedding right away, and I promise it will be better than the last one. William put his hands on my shoulders, his tone pleading. Ava, really, listen to my explanation. I'm just used to taking care of Olivia. The person I love is really you. I didn't expect you to leave. I'm a jerk. I hurt you. I'm sorry for you. I gently shook off his hands. Looking at his red eyes, I wasn't completely unmoved. After all, when I was most starved of love and most in need of others' affirmation, it was William who accompanied me. But precisely because of this, I couldn't forgive him even more. Forgiving him would mean being sorry to myself who had been full of anticipation for the wedding. You love me. No, love isn't like this. Love is always feeling indebted, not taking advantage of the fact that I once loved you and taking it for granted to owe me again and again like you do. Love is about two people understanding and accommodating each other, not one person making unilateral efforts. William, we can't go back. You know best what I want. What I want is preference and a firm choice. But he didn't give me any of these. William was as if struck by lightning. He took several steps back and covered his face dejectedly. Judging by his appearance, he was probably crying. I didn't go up to comfort him. He was just an ex-boyfriend, and he wasn't worth my trouble. It's okay as long as things are made clear. Anyway, I hope they won't block me downstairs and ruin my mood. Just as I was about to leave, I was stopped by my family members including James. Then I remembered that there were still 3 people here. I rubbed my temples irritably. Looking at the 3 hesitant people in front of me, I asked, he came to me to try to get back together. What are you here for? Dad sighed. Ava, we read your diary and only then did we realize how many grievances you've suffered all these years. His tone was solemn as if there was a huge misunderstanding. He brought up their hardships over the years. He mentioned that Olivia almost died of illness when she was a child, and since their daughter, wasn't at home, they almost compensated all their love to their youngest daughter, Olivia. He also said that by the time I was brought back home, so many years had passed, and they didn't know how to get along with me anymore and had forgotten how to love me. He also said that Olivia was spoiled by them, so she used marketing tricks against me, and they knew nothing about it. I listened quietly without showing my stance. Mom looked full of guilt. We've also found out the reason why your sister was allergic. She was allergic because she ate the peanuts in the cold dish, not because of you. I'm sorry, Ava. Mom misunderstood you and even slapped you. Does it still hurt? I really wanted to hear these words when I was a teenager. Every time I was misunderstood, I would always imagine that one day my parents could discover the truth and tell me it wasn't my fault. But now, it's too late. I'm no longer that little girl who still had expectations of them. Seeing that I didn't react at all, the expressions on the faces of my family members including James seemed even sadder. Mom and Dad still wanted to say something, but I had run out of patience. Okay, have you finished speaking? You can leave now. I still have things to do in the afternoon. Don't waste my time. How can this be a waste of time? We're apologizing to you. James was a bit emotional. He couldn't figure out why Ava was so cold towards them. Wasn't all of this just a misunderstanding? Ava used to love them so much. Why did it turn out like this? Do I have to accept an apology just because someone gives it? I retorted, and James was left speechless. This was downstairs of the dormitory, and there were many classmates coming and going. Although most of them couldn't understand Chinese and didn't know what we were talking about, it didn't stop them from gathering here to watch the scene. I've always disliked being treated as a spectacle. At this moment, I was really angry, and I blurted out all the thoughts hidden in my heart. You keep saying that you compensated the love you owed me to Olivia. But why? I'm the one who was wronged, and she's the one who benefited. Before at home, you always disliked me for making a fuss, for competing with Olivia, and for having a bad temper. But have you ever thought that if I didn't make a fuss, no one would care about me at all? I was happier at my grandpa's house than in your home. Now that I've left and am staying away from you, can't we just live our own lives in peace? Mom was already in tears after hearing my words. Ava, but you're our daughter. Blood ties can't be broken just like that, can they? I'd rather not be your daughter. After saying these words, I turned around and went upstairs, not looking at my family members including James, who were crying uncontrollably. Perhaps the impact of these words was too great. For a period of time after that, they didn't come to bother me again. However, there were always some fruits and vegetables outside my apartment door occasionally. I guessed that my family members including James or William had found my classmates and asked them to leave these for me. But I never accepted them and just gave them to other people in the apartment building instead. In the year when I was about to graduate, there was a big scandal in the study abroad circle. When I received the PPE sent by my friend, I found that the protagonist in it was actually my sister Olivia, whom I hadn't contacted for a long time. It turned out that after she went abroad to study, she quickly left the piano behind. All those things she boasted about, such as being in an orchestra and being highly appreciated by the teacher, were all lies. She didn't learn anything useful, but she did learn the openness in foreign countries. Her private life was in a mess, and she contracted a sexually transmitted disease. Not only that, she also got involved with something she shouldn't have at a party. In order to get my family members including James to send her money, she lied to them that she was ill. As a result, Mom, Dad, and James, who went to see her in person because they were worried about her, caught her in the act. Olivia was probably high and questioned them defiantly. Aren't I the one you love the most? Why did you give the money to that bitch Ava again? If you hadn't refused to give me money, I wouldn't have told this lie. During the argument, she, in a delirious state, picked up a knife and stabbed her own brother, James. Although James survived, he also had sequelae and his health would never be good again in this life. Mom and Dad lamented that it was a great misfortune for the family and cut off Olivia's living expenses. Without money, Olivia went even further down the wrong path. As a result, she infected several people with the disease and then returned to China, planning to find someone to take the blame. Coincidentally, the unlucky guy she picked was precisely William. Although William said he loved me, he didn't refuse his first love who came to him. As a result, his first love became an AIDS patient, and he himself was also infected. Unable to accept that he had become like this, William was so angry that he stabbed Olivia. She stabbed him, and he stabbed her back. One died, one was injured, and one went to prison. Looking at these familiar names, I just felt a bit sighing with emotion, and there were no other feelings left. After graduating, I returned to China and became a backbone member of a pharmaceutical company. Mom, Dad, and James heard the news and wanted to come to find me. However, they were stopped by the security guards before they could even meet me. Throughout their lives, they could only live in regret. They regretted not loving that little girl who was brought back home. They regretted losing that daughter and sister who had them in her eyes.